In this week's movies, A.C.O.D, A Touch of Sin, and Gravity. Gravity is a 3D movie about the struggle for survival in terrible, rapidly changing circumstances. In his review, A.O. Scott writes, "As our eyes adjust to the vast darkness, we detect movement that is recognizably human and hear familiar voices. Astronauts, movie stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney in spacesuits."
Terrific.
The main challenge facing the director Alfonso Cuarón is not visualizing the unimaginable so much as overcoming the audience's assumption that we've seen it all before. Mr. Cuarón succeeds by tethering almost unfathomably complex techniques, both digital and analog, to a simple narrative. Gravity is less science fiction spectacle than a Jack London tale in orbit. The standard for a movie like this one is not realism, but coherence. Every true outlaw has a code. The laws of physics are no exception, and Mr. Cuarón violates them with ingenious and exuberant rigor. A Touch of Sin is a fictionalized tale straight out of China. In her review, Manohla Dargis writes that A Touch of Sin is a story of lives rocked by violence. It's inscribed with visual lyricism, emotional weight, and a belief in individual rights. Divided into 4 sections, each centered on a different character, the movie opens in a northern town where a man has started a solitary campaign against the village leader and the local boss, who have grown rich selling communal property. What concerns him are people, exploited and dehumanized by others who now only value things, like the private plane that the big boss buys and other shiny totems of New China. The transformation of characters is of a piece with the everyday surrealism that the director Jia Zhengke finds in cities, villages, and along highways.
There's no current research about people like you.
People like me?
A.C.O.Ds, adult children of divorce.
A.C.O.D is an unfunny comedy about a guy mooning over his parents' divorce decades after it occurred.
You have turned a 9-year marriage into a 100-year war.
In her review, Manohla Dargis writes, "The movie is so eager to please, it's hard to hate. But it's sluggish even at 87 minutes, cliched, and gives you nothing of interest to look at other than some familiar faces."
We're part of a
book club.
Adam Scott, a likable presence no matter the material, plays Carter, a restaurateur in a generic town. What matters in this movie is Carter, his needs, his emotions, and most of all, his unhappiness with his parents.
I do know better.
Director Stuart Zuckerman has rounded up an affable group of actors, including Amy Poehler, who nimbly rises above her shrewish caricature she's meant to play, ringing out some much-needed laughs. Jane Lynch, who plays a woman studying children of divorce, also elevates her scenes.
Don't pick nits with me, all right?
But Mr. Zuckerman needs a better crew, some time with the Criterion Collection, and a fresher story.
I got what I needed, thank you. And I'll see you next week. This is great.